Good morning and welcome. I'm Pastor Eric and we're CECA. Before we start, I just want to make a quick announcement. We're going to resume our physical service on the 7th of November. So please come and join us at Eastwood. We'd love to see you there. At the same time, we'll continue to provide online service, that is a live stream service on YouTube, so you're also welcome to join us there. Again, I just pray and I hope today's songs and message would encourage you, will strengthen you during this lockdown. Now, let us start with a song of praise.
God is able, He will never fail. He is Almighty God, greater than all we seek, greater than all we ask. He has done great things, lifted up, defeated the grave, raised to life. Our God is able. In His name we overcome. For the Lord our God is able. God is with us. God is with us. God is on our side. He will make a way, far above all we know, far above all we hope. He has done great things, lifted up, defeated the grave, raised to life. Our God is able. In His name we overcome. For the Lord our God is able. God is with us. We will go before. He will never leave us. He will never leave us. God is for us. He has opened us. He will never fail us. He will never fail us. Lifted up, defeated the grave, raised to life. Our God is able. In His name we overcome. For the Lord our God is able. Lifted up, defeated the grave, raised to life. Our God is able. In His name we overcome. For the Lord our God is able. For the Lord our God is able. For the Lord our God is able.
In the darkness, we were waiting without hope, without light. From heaven coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. In the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till the stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tomb, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who would come through her Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born, then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of all shall not kneel, shall not fade. By His blood and in His name, in His freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise forever to the King of Kings.
Good morning. Before we begin, I must confess that I was hoping that I was able to share this message with you face to face. But as we have decided to resume our physical service on the 7th of November, now we just have to stick together and hang in there for just a few more weeks. The reason why I hope that I can share this message with you face to face is because I want to talk about going to church. But that's okay. I still hope that this message and the following one would help you prepare yourself to come to church to worship physically once again. As we resume physical service, a lot of people are excited, expecting this to be a restart, a refresh, a new beginning. And we're all looking forward to just come back and see each other again. It's great and wonderful to just be together worshiping again. With all your excitement and hype, I want to spend some time to think about how you should prepare yourself as you come back to church. Now we will do this with a reflection with Psalm 131. And so let us just have a read of this psalm first.
Psalm 131, a song of ascents, of David.
My heart is not proud, O Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. But I have stilled and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me. O Israel, put your hope in the Lord both now and forevermore.
Now you might know in Christianity, Jerusalem is a sacred place. Christians from all around the world would hope to visit there at least once in their lifetime, especially on special occasions like Passover, Palm Sunday, Easter, Christmas. Christians would love to visit there at least once in their lifetime. It is the same back in the days with the early church in the first century. People would walk hours, even weeks to just get there. Jerusalem is a sacred place, and as they travel, they will sing songs. Not just any songs, right? But worship songs. As they travel, they will worship God. And songs that will reflect their heart, reflect their desire, reflect their passion as they go to this place. It's very much like Easter or Christmas, where in the church we will select songs that match it to help us reflect the significance of those special dates. And Psalm 131 is such a song. This is a song that they will sing as they journey towards Jerusalem. In other words, this is a song that they will sing as they prepare themselves to meet God. And so that's why I want to use this psalm today to reflect on this. How should you prepare yourself as you go to church? Now, as we're going back to resume physical service in 2 weeks, you might be thinking, well, finally we can meet again. Finally, I can see my friends again. Or finally, we can have lunch together again. You might be coming with many different expectations. You're ready and you're prepared to be back. But what does it actually mean to prepare yourself for church? Now, maybe that means coming 5 minutes early, sit down, quiet down, but then usually we just end up chatting and catching up with one another. Or you might come early, get a coffee, make sure you're awake. Others come and have a quick worship practice, prepare everything as church starts. Or we also have a pre-service prayer meeting to prepare yourself for worship. But after we've done all that, is everyone prepared? Are you really prepared for worship? Now I want to use this psalm to give you a direction on how you should actually prepare yourself each week to come to church. Psalm 131, a very short psalm, only 3 verses, on how you can prepare yourself as you come to church. Let's have a look. First, verse 1. My heart is not proud, Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. How do you or should you prepare yourself as you come to church? Well, you have to firstly prepare to let go. This psalm begins with a call on the Lord, call on God. David calls on God, and there are 3 things he said to him that he will not do. First, his heart will not be proud. His eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great and wonderful things too wonderful for me. Now, my heart refers to what I think. My eyes, obviously, what I see. Now, I do not concern with great things. In King James, it actually says, neither do I exercise myself in great matters. That is what I do. What you think, what you see, what you do. That pretty much sums up the whole person. So as David is saying, as I come to the Lord, my heart will not be proud. My eyes will not be arrogant. I will not do or dream things that are too great for me or that is out of my reach or beyond my abilities. I will let go of what's in my heart. I will let go of all the flaws and mistakes that I see in my eyes. I will let go of all my unrealistic dreams and expectations. In other words, he's saying to God, as I come to you, I will let go of myself. I'll be humble. I'll be a blank page as I come to your temple. What does that mean for us? It means to put away the presumptions on what you think a church should be like. With your heart, you might have learned what a church should be like. With your eyes, you see and you notice there are a lot of things that the church needs to improve, that the church needs to fix. And then comes the great and wonderful things that you wish would happen in the church. But here, David is saying, as I come to you, I'm putting away everything. Everything that is in my mind, every flaws, mistakes, issues that I see in the church, I'm putting it down. All the presumptions that I have for a perfect church on how it should be run, I'm putting it down. I'll be humble and I'll be a blank page as I come to you. I'm putting myself down. I'm putting down all these things that I see. I'm coming to your church humble and I'm coming to listen. And that is in verse 2. Verse 2. But I have calmed and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I'm content. Verse 1, prepare to let go. Verse 2, prepare to listen. Now, verse 2 is a very different picture from verse 1. It says, I have calmed and I have quieted down myself. I have calmed down my heart and silenced all those voices in my head. I'm like a child after nursing, after being fed in its mother's arms, content, safe, and at peace. David is saying, I'm coming to you, God. I'll be humble. I'll be like a blank page. I will come and prepare to be fed. I trust and I know that I'll be fed. I'll be content. I'll be safe. I'll be at peace, just like a child with its mother. I will trust that you've prepared the best for me. I'll be humble and I'm prepared to receive like a baby. I am ready to listen to you. This is how David prepares himself as he goes to see God, as he goes to worship him, as he goes to church. He's going in with a humble heart, with a blank page. He's throwing away all the presumption that he has for worship. He was humble and he was prepared to listen. Sometimes I feel like we have come to believe that in order for me to hear God, we must first sing a few songs, then listen to a good and powerful sermon, and finally have a song that responds to that message. Others would add in different things onto that formula, adding perhaps visual, audio effects, the way a message must be presented in order to be qualified as a good sermon, songs that must be sung in a certain way. We have to make Sunday great and exciting, and that will enhance your experience with God. Now, these things are not bad. A well and good arranged service is definitely needed. But David is saying, I'm not coming for the music. I'm not coming for the sermon. I'm coming to be fed. I'm coming to listen. I'm coming to hear God speak to me. David comes with a humble heart, an attentive heart. He's prepared to listen. That is, he's expecting God to speak to him. He's saying, God, this week you might be speaking to me through a message. Another week you might be speaking to me through songs. And then next month you might be speaking to me through the way I serve. I don't know. So I'll be humble. I'll be attentive. I'll be ready to listen to you. I'm prepared to hear you speak in whatever way you want. For us, for you, I think there are two things that we can reflect on. First, how many of you actually come expecting God to speak to you? How often do you come and really seek for His voice, His message for you? I agree and I understand that God speaks louder in some weeks than others. Sometimes He might even be silent, but He's never absent. The question is, do you come to church expecting God will speak to you? And are you ready? Are you prepared to listen? And this leads on to the second question. When you do expect God to speak, how many of you come with presumptions on how God should speak? Only through great music, great worship songs, will I experience God's presence. Only through a great and powerful sermon will I hear God's voice clearly. Only through successful results in ministry will I discover God's will for my life. Now, I also experience this as well. I often go to church with many presumptions, especially as I go church visits. The worship team is not up to standard. The songs are, too old. The sermon is not good enough. Application is too weak. The exegesis is not strong. It's boring. And so I shut my mind, and my heart is often proud and says, there's no way God can speak through this mess. But I'm so wrong, because I realize when you're humble, when you put your presumptions down and prepare yourself to listen, God will speak. Now, let me just be clear. Today, I'm not saying that we should ignore the fact that we must improve the quality of our service. That is much needed. But today, the reflection and challenge is this: to remember God's voice does not depend on these things. It depends on your heart, whether you're actually prepared to listen, whether you're actually humble enough to listen, whether you're actually willing to listen. When you're ready, when you're prepared, God will speak to you in His own ways. And so verse 1, it says, prepare to let go. Verse 2, prepare to listen. And finally, the third preparation that you must have before you come is to prepare to follow. And that's in verse 3. Verse 3, it says, Israel, put your hope in the Lord both now and forevermore. Put your hope in the Lord. This is a phrase that we often use, and we use it when you experience difficulties. When you're looking for a job, put your hope, put your faith in God. Putting hope in God in that context means hoping God will help provide a way out in your struggles. That is only one aspect of what it means to put your hope in God, because in the original Hebrew, this word also means to wait, to hope. That is what we just said before, to hope and seek for a rescue. But the word also has a more general meaning of focus, to pay attention to Him. In other words, putting your hope in God now and forevermore means putting all your attention on Him every single day. And if you combine it with verse 1 and verse 2, David is preparing himself to meet God, expecting God to speak to him, and he was also ready to follow it through in his life. In other words, David is saying, as I come to this worship gathering, as I come to worship God in this special place called Jerusalem, I'm prepared to humble myself. I'm ready to hear what you have to say. And I'm ready to follow it through in my life as I walk out of the church. David was not only prepared to listen, but also he was ready, prepared to follow. And so you must be prepared to follow when you come to church. How often do you hear a message and you go, it's too hard, it's not for me? How often do you leave the message at the door as you leave the church and go out for lunch? How often do you feel touched on Sunday and then just totally forget about it on Monday? How many times have God actually spoken to you so loudly and you actually follow it through? So how do you go to church? What sort of attitude do you carry as you come? You might be thinking, I go to prepare for cubbies, for Awana, for worship, for PA. I've got no time to quiet down, no time to focus on God. I can't even listen to the sermon because, I'm at children ministry. Well, no, because God speaks through everything and anything. The key question is, are you ready? Are you prepared to listen? Are you prepared to listen to God as you step in the door? Are you ready? Are you prepared to follow it through as you walk out of the church? So before you come back to church, re-examine your heart. What sort of attitude do you carry as you come? And I think we should share this in our discussion afterward as well. Because if you know that it's not fully right, ask God forgiveness, ask God for help, and pray for each other. Find ways to help you get it right. That's why we set up a pre-service prayer meeting beforehand. It's not just for the need of the church, it's so that to help each other get our attitude right before we come. It's to help set your heart right before you come and worship God on every Sunday. If you're free, you might even pair up with another person, get a coffee and just have a short devotion together. Get your heart right before you come to worship. Prepare to be humble, prepare to listen, and prepare to follow it through in your life. Please, 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 don't just go through the motion, thinking, I'm a Christian, so I'm supposed to come on Sunday. Oh, there's a lack of helpers in the church, so I'll help ourselves to keep the service running. Please, come back to God. Don't just come to church. Come to God. Prepare your hearts. Prepare for Him to speak. Prepare to follow it through. I remember in cell group, we were discussing or describing what a perfect church should be like. There should be great ministry, a great, wonderful building. We should make an impact in the community. Be great and awesome music, powerful message every single week, and then on top of that, we should have good leaders, loving, caring people, giving us spiritual advice, giving us their wisdom. These are all great things and such a blessing to have in the church. But now I think the perfect church that God wants is this: people coming prepared to be humble, prepared to listen to Him, prepared to follow His voice. I think that is the perfect church. Because it doesn't matter how great, how fancy, how successful the church is. If your heart is not ready, if your attitude is not right, you will never find God in the church. And so as we prepare ourselves for coming back to physical worship next month, you might be really excited because you can finally come back to see each other again. You might be happy because we can finally sing and really physically worship together as a church. But I think more importantly, please remember to prepare yourself, prepare your heart, humble yourself. Come, prepare to listen to Him. Come, prepare to follow His message for you. And that is what church is all about.
Hello everyone, I just have 3 announcements to make. The first is about church service resuming physically. As Pastor Eric has already said earlier in today's service, church will resume physical service on the 7th of November. We obviously want to encourage you guys to come back as we want to see all your faces, and we also want to do worship together physically. Live streaming will still be available for those who cannot make it or those who feel unsafe still. So there is that option available. The second announcement is just about Operation Christmas Child. This year we're participating in this event organized by the Samaritan's Purse, and it's just a way for us to pack a box of gifts to be able to give to children in developing countries. They also use this as a means to help share the gospel as well. So if you would like to participate and you need more information, please ask one of the cell group leaders or ask Pastor Eric. And the third announcement is just about church offering. The details are on the screen. We do encourage you to prayerfully consider how you can be supporting the church, both through the financial means, through prayer, as well as through works of service. for those who would like to have more information, please speak to Pastor Eric. Otherwise, that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over to the music team for one last song of worship.